Welcome, fellow travelers and chaos bringers. We're here to dissect, maybe even eviscerate, the phenomenon that is the Rolling Stones.
Let's get on with it then. The Stones, darlings of mayhem and masters of the riff. What's there not to adore?
Their influence is undeniable, but it's the alchemy between Mick and Keith that crafted their golden era. Like Ziggy Stardust met Major Tom in a sleazy bar and decided to create history.
Honey, it's that rawness, that couldn't give a damn attitude. They got blues pouring out of their veins. Makes a girl want to scream and shout.
Yeah, man. It's all about that chemistry. I mean, playing together like two sides of the same coin, flipping through the air but always landing as one.
It's the authenticity for me. They were never afraid to tear down the pretenses and just let the music bleed. Reminds me of why I picked up a guitar in the first place.
True that, each note a rebellion, each lyric a challenge to the status quo. They didn't just ride the wave of rock and roll, they became the wave.
And let's not forget their brilliant mockery of societal norms. Pushing buttons and boundaries like it's a sport.
Quite right. They played the game of fame while poking fun at it. An art form in its own right.
They made it okay to be an outsider, to live on the edge, showing us all that it's all right to be a little broken.
It's the Stones' world. We're just living in it, experiencing every riff and riot.
Sounds about right. A world where the Stones keep rolling, and the rest of us just try to keep up.
Then, let's dive in headfirst. See if we can't keep up with the endless enigma of the Rolling Stones. Alright, let's dive straight into the murky waters. The Stones, they started with blues covers and ended up carving out what could well be the backbone of rock and roll. How did that evolution strike you, David? It's fascinating. They went from imitating heroes to becoming icons themselves, didn't they? There was this raw, bluesy inception with sticky fingers and those albums, like a chameleon changing colors but somehow retaining its shape. It's a testament to their art.
Yeah, but don't sugarcoat it, man. Their early stuff, it had guts. Tracks like Gimme Shelter were more than songs. They were confessions, raw, bleeding confessions laid atop a blues riff. They captured something feral, echoed in grunge decades later. It was the sound of the world crashing down, and it was beautiful in its chaos.
Extravagance, that's the word. They had the audacity to evolve, to strut from blues into this flamboyant display of rock theatrics. It's like watching a phoenix set itself aflame only to rise again. Each album, a rebirth. Some girls showed they could reinvent and remain relevant, a quality few bands possess.
Damn straight, Freddie. But let's not forget the soul behind that evolution. It wasn't just about changing music styles or adapting for the hell of it. Every note they played, you could feel it was the Stones. They bared their souls in their music, from the blues to whatever genre they decided to dabble in next. It was real.
You're all hitting around it, but missed the essence. Their music, it was a bridge. They took us from the Delta blues, which was pure, raw emotion, and they plugged it into an amplifier. What came out was not just rock and roll, it was a revolution. The sheer boldness, the explosion of sound. It was electric, man. They didn't just play music, they weaponized it.
Precisely, Jimmy. And through that weaponization, they not only transformed themselves, but the entire landscape. It's the audacity, the swagger. They showed that rock and roll wasn't just a genre, it was a stance, a way to face the world head-on.
And yet, amidst that transformation, they never lost sight of where they came from. They carried the blues with them, like a talisman against the sterilization of music. That's the real genius of the Stones. Not just that they changed, but they held on to their roots so tightly that those roots became part of the rock and roll tree itself.
That's the heart of it, Kurt. They never pretended to be something they weren't. They took the blues, honored it, and then set it on fire in the best damn way possible. It's that honesty, that raw, unapologetic truth that makes their journey so powerful.
To encapsulate, it's their ability to evolve without erasure, to adapt without sacrificing their core. That's the hallmark of their sound. It's a delicate dance on the tightrope of musical integrity, and the Rolling Stones did it with unparalleled grace and gut.
Right, we're circling around this monument of sound they built, and it's clear. Their journey from blues to rock isn't just history. It's a blueprint for rebellion, for evolution, for honesty in music. They were architects of a sort, weren't they? Crafting not just songs, but cathedrals of sound where we all found some solace, some fire, some truth. And in doing so, they transformed not just their sound, but the sound of an era. Quite the feat, wouldn't you say? All right, let's cut right to the chase. The Stones shattered norms and redefined rock. What's your take on how they impacted our breed of music and the industry itself?
Darling, they were ostentatious, flamboyant pioneers. They took rock and roll and dressed it in sequins and swagger, much like I did with Queen. They weren't just about music, they were showmen, setting stages alight with their sheer presence.
Yes, Freddie, but it's their chameleon-like adaptability that truly reshaped the industry. From pop to rock to disco, they constantly reinvented themselves without ever losing their essence. I've always admired that kind of versatility, something I tried to embody myself.
Honey, they stayed relevant by always sticking it to the man, never conforming. That's rock and roll. It's not just about the sound, it's the soul, the rebellion. They were raw, real, and they spoke to the outcasts and the rebels in all of us.
They're the reason bands like mine ever got off the ground. They mixed blues with rock and didn't care for the rules. It was all about the emotion, the angst too. Songs like Gimme Shelter resonate with so many because they capture that raw, unfiltered emotion.
Man, their impact goes beyond just the sound or the performance. They embraced experimentation, fused genres, and introduced the world to sounds they'd never dreamt of. Hendrix might have taken guitar solos to new heights, but the Stones, they made blues rock the language of the soul.
Indeed, Jimmy, and let's not forget the studio as their alchemy lab. Their Satanic Majesty's Request, though maligned by some, showcased their willingness to push boundaries, to experiment. It inspired countless others to think outside the box. Right, they never feared evolution. But speaking of impact, did they change the industry for better or worse?
Absolutely for the better, John. They forged a path, showed what rock and roll could be: flamboyance, theatricality, androgyny. They laid the foundations. Look at the glam rock era, the punk movement. All owe a debt to the Stones.
But let's not sugarcoat it. Their defiance of social norms, their battles with censorship, they paid a hefty price, but so did we all. They fought and survived, making it easier for the rest of us to be who we are, on stage and off.
Yeah, they got under people's skin, challenged the status quo. Rock and roll is supposed to make you feel uncomfortable, supposed to challenge you. The Stones never lost that edge. They kept pushing, making sure rock remained a force to be reckoned with.
Let's not forget the studio experimentation, man. They explored recording techniques that were avant-garde, setting new standards. It was revolutionary, always ahead of its time, pushing us all to explore further, to never settle.
Precisely. Their legacy is innovation, adaptation, and boundless creativity. They didn't just change the music industry, they became its beating heart, a force pulsating with life, challenging each generation to be braver, bolder, and to break more rules. Who else can claim such an influence? You've all made some damn fine points. The Stones didn't just mirror society's changes, they marched at the forefront, guitars blazing. It seems we're all in agreement. They were, and remain, monumental. Let's keep this energy going as we roll into the next topic. So, we're diving into the deep end with Mick and Keith's songwriting. What's the magic in this partnership, eh? They've got this blend of blues and rock that's just unparalleled.
Man, it's like they grabbed the blues by the roots and painted it with colors of rock and roll. Wild Horses, for instance. That song, it's got soul. It's got that pure emotional depth, you dig? They took the sadness and the beauty and mixed it into something that transcends.
Absolutely, Jimmy. Their genius lies in the balance they strike. Within their songwriting, you find this intricate dance between mischief and melancholy, rebellion and reflection. It's almost Dickensian how they can tell a story.
Don't forget, darlings, the theatricality of their compositions. There's drama in their music. Look at Sympathy for the Devil. It's practically a stage show in itself. They craft characters, narratives, settings. It's operatic in its own rock and roll way.
Yeah, but don't get too carried away. It's their rawness that cuts deep. They aren't about polished shoes. they're about muddy boots. The way they write, it's like they're bleeding on the paper. Gimme Shelter isn't just a song, it's a freaking storm coming at you.
Honey, they sing it like it is. No sugarcoating. It ain't all flowers and sunshine, and that's life. Their songs, they reach out and touch the soul 'cause they're real. They got this way of stripping everything down to the bone and singing from the marrow.
Well, it's an alchemical mix, isn't it? They weave the personal with the universal. Who else could write a line like, I met a gin-soaked barroom queen in Memphis, and make you feel like you've been there, drowning in that same desperate, boozy embrace?
True, true. But it's not just about the words, man. It's about the vibe they create. That guitar riff and satisfaction, it's like a heartbeat, persistent, insistent, driving the song, driving their message home. Indeed, and let's not neglect the emotive aspect. They know the human heart, the peaks and valleys of love and loss. They've mastered the art of touching upon the fragility of the human condition without ever sounding patronizing.
And damn, don't they just know how to keep it simple? None of that overcomplicated nonsense. Straight to the point, straight to the gut.
Looks like we all agree then. Mick and Keith, they've got a gift for finding the universal in the personal, for taking raw emotion and molding it into something that resonates across the board. They're poets, rebels, storytellers, and dare I say, philosophers in their own right.
Ain't that the truth? They sing the blues as if they've lived every line, and man, does it show. They take you on a journey, and it's a trip worth taking every single time.
Precisely. It's this authenticity, this commitment to telling the human story with all its flaws and glories that sets them apart. They are true artists, painting with notes and lyrics on the vast canvas of life.
And let's raise a glass to that, darlings. To Mick, to Keith, to the enduring legacy of their incredible partnership. May we all be so lucky as to tap into the zeitgeist with such eloquence and fervor.
Here's to never losing that edge, that ability to say what needs to be said. Music be damned.
Well said, everyone. This songwriting duo, they've got something special, something that clearly speaks to each of us, in different ways, but with the same impact. Let's carry on and see where this journey takes us next. Let's dive straight into the blues, folks. The Stones, they roped in the blues like no other. Thoughts?
Honey, the blues ain't just music. It's a soul cry. The Stones, they got that. They didn't just play blues. They felt it. Brought it over to folks who'd never touched that depth of feeling before.
True, Janis. Their early work, it's like they broke into the blues vault and came out wearing it like a second skin. Aftermath wasn't just a record, it was a declaration. They took the blues and made it accessible, but never lost the essence.
They bridged gaps, man. Blues was the heart, rock was the body. Keith's riffs married to Mick's voice. That's blues power turned up to 11. But they kept true to the roots, always. Respect where respect's due.
The thing is, authenticity. You can't fake blues. People try and fail because it's not about technique, it's about living those notes. The Stones, maybe they didn't live all those blues lives, but they sure as hell convinced you they did.
Darling, it's all about passion. And you could argue about authenticity, but you can't argue passion. The Stones had it in spades. They took the blues and made it flamboyant, made it strut.
It ain't just about strutting, Freddie. It's about bleeding. Paint it black. You hear that song? You're hearing grief strutting in leather boots, baby.
But isn't that the point? They made the blues glamorous without stripping it of its soul. Only the Stones could dress up the blues without it feeling like a costume.
Blues is feeling. You play the right chord, hit the right note, it's like the universe sighs. Keith understood that. The man's guitar weeps blues.
Gimme Shelter is the blues for the apocalypse. That's not just music, that's a damn siren call, raw and real.
They did indeed give the blues a stadium home. Those riffs invite you in, but it's Mick's howl, like a bluesman's soul escaping, that locks you there.
Well, everyone's fired up. It seems the Stones didn't just play blues, they added pages to its Bible. Far out and profoundly their own way, wouldn't you say? Alright, diving into Exile on Main Street, it's gritty, it's raw. It's like they bottled lightning, yeah? Freddie, you're all about the flamboyance. Did this album hit a chord, or was it too disheveled for your taste?
Darling, Exile was a masterpiece of musical mayhem, a glorious mess. You see, there's a beauty in its chaos, something quite theatrical, actually. It's akin to opera in its emotional depth. Each track, a scene, each lyric, a profound area. Magnificent.
But don't you think, Freddie, it was more than just theatrics? It's the sound of a band teetering on the edge. It's desperation and decadence. It's like screaming into the void and hearing the echo of your own isolation. That's not opera. That's existential dread made audible.
Honey, Kurt's right. It ain't just about the spectacle. It's the soul, the raw, bleeding soul of it. You listen to Tumbling Dice or Shine a Light, and it's like they've ripped open their hearts and let all the hurt spill out. That's the blues, baby. That's life.
Fascinating perspectives, truly. I see Exile as a collision of genres, a hybrid of sorts. It defies classification. The Stones were experimenting, cross-dressing genres, if you will. It's a bit androgynous, not just in its sound, but in its very essence. A work of art that refuses to be pigeonholed, much like myself.
Yeah, the eclectic nature of it, man. That's the magic. They blended rock, blues, country, even gospel. It wasn't just a rock album, it was a journey through American music. Like they channeled the soul of each genre, distilled it, and then said, here, this is us, this is now. It's innovation by looking backward, digging deep into roots to find a new voice.
So we're saying, it's a masterpiece, because it melds desperation with exploration, the theatrical with the visceral, all while paying homage to and reinventing its roots. But do we think it pushed boundaries too far, or was it just what the doctor ordered for that moment in rock and roll?
My dear, there's no such thing as too far in art. Exile didn't push the boundaries, it obliterated them. It was precisely what was needed, a wake-up call, a reminder that rock and roll isn't about playing it safe. It's about risk, and darling, those risks paid off.
Yeah, safety's a joke. If you're not on the edge, you're taking up too much space. The Stones understood that. Exile wasn't just for that moment. It's timeless. It speaks to every generation that feels lost, every soul that's searching for something real.
Let me tell you, it ain't about the moment, it's about eternity. That album, those songs, they're going to outlive us all because they touch something eternal. Pain, love, the whole damn human condition. Far out. That's what makes it not just good, but essential.
Indeed, its legacy is secured not by the boundaries it pushed, but by the conversations it continues to inspire, such as this one. Art is dialogue, and Exile keeps the dialogue engaging and evolving.
That's the thing. It wasn't just for then, it's for now, it's for tomorrow. It's a conversation that never ends because it keeps evolving. Music, real music, lives and breathes with us. Exile is alive, and that's why it'll never fade.
Right then. Exile on Main Street, a testament to the enduring power of raw, unfiltered music to capture the essence of human experience. It's not just about the sound, but the spirit behind it. A spirit that screams, weathers, and ultimately triumphs. Cheers to that, wouldn't you say? All right, let's delve into the controversy and social stir. The Rolling Stones often found themselves in sympathy for the devil, street fighting man, bold statements, or just songs.
Man, Sympathy for the Devil wasn't just music. It was a mirror reflecting society, showing us the chaos, the violence, and the upheaval. It's like we were all playing with fire, not just the Stones.
Absolutely, Jimmy. Music's gotta say something, you know? When Mick and Keith penned those lines, war, children, it's just a shot away, it's just a shot away, that's raw truth, not controversy. It's what we were all feeling, seeing on the news every damn day.
True, but then there's this glorification aspect. Making icons out of rebels and protesters. Does it change anything, or just sell albums?
Oh, please, Kurt. Art always reflects and influences reality. The Stones captured the zeitgeist, pushed boundaries. That's what artists do. It's transformational, not transactional.
Darling, let's not forget controversy sells, but only the genuine impacts last. Street Fighting Man wasn't just a catchy tune. It was a call to arms, a mobilization of the youth. That's the power of rock and roll, isn't it? Stirring the pot, making you think, and sometimes act.
True, Freddie. And it's not just about rebellion. There's a poetry in their provocation, an elegance in their audacity.
Elegance, yeah, like a guitar riff that cuts right through the noise. It's about making people feel, not just hear.
But let's not sugarcoat it. The system needed shaking up, and we were all trying to do it. The Stones, me, all of us. Music was our weapon.
And now, it feels like the message got lost in the nostalgia.
Nostalgia? Perhaps. But every generation finds its voice in the echoes of the past. The Stones' music, those controversial songs, they're timeless because the struggle, the pain, the fight, it's all still real.
Absolutely, David. True art, true music touches the soul, crosses generations. Controversy fades, but the message, the feeling, that lingers. Like a good solo, huh? You remember how it made you feel long after the song ends.
Aye, exactly, Jimmy. It's the feeling that sticks with you, that drives change. The Rolling Stones knew that, played that, and we're still talking about it, aren't we? All right, diving straight into the heart of rock and roll, let's talk visual aesthetic and stage presence. The Stones practically wrote the book on it. David, you've always been on another level with this stuff. Yes, John, the Stones, with their androgynous glam, take It's Only Rock and Roll, for example, pushed boundaries before most of us even knew there were lines. My Ziggy Stardust owed a lot to them, blending theatrics with rock, making the invisible visible.
But darling, let's not forget the sheer flamboyancy. I mean, Mick prancing on stage, that's theater. It influenced not just you, David, but all of us. Queen's live shows, the grandiosity, the drama, it was all part of this evolution. Theater and rock music intertwined beautifully.
But here's the thing, y'all. It wasn't just about the clothes or the makeup. It's that raw energy, you know? Mick, Keith, they had this vibe, man. It was electrifying, like my performances at Woodstock. It's all about connecting with the audience, making them feel something real.
I dig that, Janis. It's the soul behind the style, the spirit. When I played Monterey and set my guitar on fire, it wasn't just a stunt, it was an expression. The Stones, they had a way of doing that with their presence, their look. It wasn't just visual, it was emotional resonance.
Yeah, and it influenced a whole generation of us in the grunge scene, even if it wasn't direct. The idea that you could be gritty and provocative, not just in sound, but in presence on stage. Cobain in a dress wasn't a fashion statement as much as it was a middle finger to conformity, inspired by acts like the Stones.
It's the daring to be different, to challenge norms. Mick Jagger and the Stones, they transcended music. They became cultural icons, defining an era where music was more than sound. It was rebellion. It was a visual art form.
Absolutely, darling. And it's that audacity to stand out that makes a legend. Our music, our performances, they're immortal because we dared to dazzle, to be flamboyant. Inspired by the best, we became the best.
Hell yes. But it wasn't just about being the best or the most outlandish. It was about being authentic to the bone. The Stones were real, man. That's what people connected with.
True that. It's like when I played the Star-Spangled Banner at Woodstock. It wasn't just a performance, it was a statement. The Stones had their way of making statements too, just by being unabashedly themselves on and off the stage.
It takes courage to be that authentic, especially in front of the whole world. It's something I always admired about them and strived for myself.
Brilliant points all around. Through their aesthetic, their presence, the Stones didn't just perform music. They were an embodiment of the era's spirit, challenging, changing, relentless, a testament to the power of rock and roll. All right, mates, diving into the juicy bit about the Stones' marathon run in rock and roll, how they've kept at it without selling their souls to the devil, though some might argue that point, and remained relevant. So what's the secret sauce? How do they keep gathering no moss?
Darling, it's theatricality and adaptability. You see, the Stones never allowed themselves to be pigeonholed. They constantly morphed with the times, a bit like myself. One moment, it's pure rock and roll. The next, they're flirting with disco on some girls. It's all about reimagining yourself, keeping the audience guessing and thirsty for more. Yeah, man, it's that willingness to experiment. They weren't scared to mix it up. Blues, country, even reggae. Goat's Head Soup is a testament, stretching out into new territories but still keeping that Stone's edge. It's like bending a note until it almost snaps, but never losing the tune.
It's about sticking to your guns, too. Even when everyone was going digital, they kept their sound gritty. Raw power, man. That's the essence of rock and roll. It's not about the technology or the latest gadget, it's the soul in the music. That's why Exile on Main Street still kicks ass.
Indeed, the Stones mastered the art of reinvention, much like a chameleon changing its colors yet always recognizable. Take It's Only Rock and Roll, for example. They toyed with glam, but at heart, they were still those bluesy rebels. It's this versatility that's made them immortal.
Honey, it's about the blood, sweat, and tears they put into their work. They lived their music, loved hard, fought harder. You feel it in every chord, every lyric. It's raw, unfiltered life. That's why people from every generation can find something of theirs to hold on to.
Precisely. And don't forget the drama. The feuds, the scandals, it all fuels the fire of public fascination. They turned their lives into theater, and the masses ate it up. But at the root, it's the music that's kept them going. They could connect with people, stir something deep inside. It's like laying down a riff that resonates with the collective soul of humanity.
Forget the technical crap for a minute. It's not about the chords or the riffs. It's the attitude, the defiance. The Stones are proof that if you keep it real, if you stay true to what you are, then you can outlast any trend.
Absolutely, but it's also about evolution. You can't stay the same creature you were in the 60s. The world moves, and you've got to glide along with it, yet somehow they managed to keep their essence. It's quite a feat. So, it's sticking to your roots while embracing change, a fine line to walk. The Stones seem to do it with a swagger that's uniquely their own. This conversation reminds me it's the music, the attitude, and the unyielding nature of experimentation that fuels longevity in this business. All right, let's dive into the heart of it, the rivalry and mutual influence between the Stones and the Beatles. I've always found it amusing how the media pitted us against each other.
Man, it's always been such a trip how people think it was like some sort of battle royale. Like, can't more than one group be brilliant at a time?
Indeed, the narrative was always about the Beatles being these clean-cut lads from Liverpool, while the Stones were the bad boys. A rather simplistic viewpoint, don't you think? Both bands were experimenters, crossing genre boundaries.
Darling, competition breeds excellence. It pushed both bands to higher achievements. Look at Sgt. Pepper and Their Satanic Majesty's Request. Wildly different, but you can see how one influenced the other.
Yeah, but don't you guys feel like the Stones kept their edge longer? I mean, they embraced the darkness in rock and roll, never shied away from it. That's real. That's raw.
There's truth to that, but let's not forget the beauty in the Beatles' evolution. The Stones had this undeniable groove, a raw sexuality to their music that was different.
We were running parallel, making the music we wanted to make. The idea of us versus them, it was more for the papers than anything else. We were mates.
Exactly. It's like comparing a hurricane to an earthquake. Both shake the ground, but they're doing their own thing.
This rivalry, so-called, it fueled creativity. Without that competitive spirit, would we have seen such rapid innovation in music during that period? I think not.
Spot on. It's like when I'm on stage, flamboyant and unapologetic. It's not to overshadow other talents, it's to push the boundaries of what is possible in performance.
But let's be real, the Stones had this way of staying relevant. They adapted, survived. There's respect in that, surviving the changing tides of rock and roll.
Adaptation, man. It's like how a song can transform in a live performance. Both the Stones and the Beatles were chameleons in their own right.
True, we all were evolving. The real takeaway is how both bands inspired a generation to think differently about music, about life.
It's the soundtrack to freedom, pain, love, rebellion. That's what's far out, how music can be a revolution no matter who's playing it.
Both bands were masters of their narratives, constantly reshaping the soundscape of the era. The mutual respect was the actual cornerstone of this so-called rivalry.
Indeed, it was all about mesmerizing the audience, giving them something they didn't even know they wanted. A bit of theatrics, a dash of controversy, and a whole lot of rock and roll.
Yeah, and it's that spirit that keeps their music, both the Beatles and the Stones, alive today. They weren't just bands, they were movements.
Movements, exactly. And it's our duty as artists to keep pushing, keep moving. That's what the Rolling Stones and the Beatles did. they moved music forward. Let's cut to the chase. The Stones' music, it's been rolling through the ages. What makes their tunes stand the test of time? Start me up, David. It's their chameleon-like adaptability. Ziggy Stardust wouldn't have blasted off if Mick and Keith hadn't first shown us how to embrace different personas. Gimme Shelter, it's a war cry, but also a lullaby for the disillusioned. That's genius.
Darling, it's the spectacle, the sheer audacity. I Can't Get No Satisfaction became the anthem of every soul yearning for more. My dear, I performed to lavish crowds, but I always looked to Mick's theatrics and thought, now that's how you command the world's attention.
It's the raw, unrestrained realness, man. Wild Horses could tear me apart because it felt like they weren't just playing music, they were bleeding their truths. We all bleed on stage, but they made it art.
The Stones always seem to capture the eternal teenage angst. Like Paint It Black could be the anthem of any generation that's feeling misunderstood. It's that sense of rebellion, man. That's what resonates.
And let's not forget the blues, man. They plugged into that ancient electricity and charged it with rock and roll.
Mick and Keith dipped their quill in the inkwell of the blues and then scribbled across the ages. But let's not overlook the melding of genres. They ventured where others feared. Disco, rock, blues, country, you name it.
Oh, I must interject. It was their unashamed pursuit of love, rebellion, the whole spectrum of human desire and despair that embroidered their music into the cultural fabric.
They didn't give a damn about fitting in. They just did their thing, and people related to that.
Exactly. It's not just about the music, man. It's the attitude. The Stones didn't chase the sound of the moment. They were the sound of the moment.
Plus, their music has layers, man. You peel back Sympathy for the Devil and find a history lesson, a morality play, and a rock anthem all in one.
They crafted songs that were both timely and timeless. You can't always get what you want, a simple truth, yet profound. Elegantly put, John. Their music transcends mere sound. It's a reflection of the human condition, a mirror to society's triumphs and tribulations.
Yes, and like a phoenix, they continually rose, reinventing themselves, yet always remaining unmistakably the Rolling Stones.
Their authenticity was their ticket. You can't fake that kind of soul, that kind of grit.
They turned their flaws into their most epic features. Who else could make an anthem of excess and make it sound so damn appealing?
In the end, it's the freedom their music represents, the freedom to be, to feel, to rebel.
Freedom. That's the essence of rock and roll, and the Rolling Stones are its quintessential poets. They sang the world's song, each note a testament to our collective journey through darkness and light. All right, let's move to wrapping this up. What's the spirit they've bequeathed to us and the future rockers to come? All right, we've danced around the fire tonight. Now let's get to the heart of it. The Rolling Stones, they're like the old bluesmen, surviving, always changing. What's the draw?
Their music strikes a chord, like a beautiful opera that traverses through decades without losing its essence. Its flamboyance mixed with raw energy, absolutely thrilling, like being on stage at Live Aid, but every single time you play their record.
It's their chameleon-like nature for me. They adapt, evolve, but remain unmistakably the Rolling Stones. Like Ziggy Stardust, they've lived through different personas but always kept the core of their identity intact. That's artistry.
Honey, it's their soul. You can't fake that bluesy depth, that raw edge. It hits you right in the guts. Listening to Wild Horses, I feel every damn word. It's like screaming into the void, knowing it'll scream right back.
It's the spirit, man. They've got this ability to capture the essence of the times, turn it around and blend it with their sound. Sympathy for the Devil, for instance, it's not just a song. It's a reflection, a moment captured in rhythm.
It's the honesty in their music for me. They don't sugarcoat. They reflect the beauty, the ugliness of the world and human nature in their lyrics, their sound. It's gritty, it's real. Listening to them is like looking into a mirror, not always liking what you see, but unable to look away.
And with that, it seems we find ourselves at the end of this madness. They've made their mark, pissed off some, inspired millions. That's rock and roll, isn't it? Stirring the pot, making you feel alive. The Rolling Stones, they're not just music, they're a force of nature.
Indeed, darling, their music isn't just heard, it's felt, experienced. Like the perfect theatrical masterpiece, it leaves you changed, echoing in your bones long after the final note fades.
In the cosmos of music, the Rolling Stones are stars, burning bright, refusing to fade out. They personify the eternal dance of innovation and tradition.
Hell, they're the soundtrack of rebellion, of freedom, of pain and joy, and everything in between. They tell the human story, warts and all.
They've walked through fire, took us all with them, and here we are, still talking about it. That's legacy. That's immortality in music.
They proved it's okay to be complicated, to be dark and light, beautiful and chaotic. They are the true essence of rock and roll, proving there's beauty in the dissonance.
To the Rolling Stones, then, may their music continue to inspire, to challenge, to move, and may we all be so lucky to leave such a mark on the world. Good night, you princes of rock, you warriors of music. The night is young and the music eternal.